Hello, my people. Welcome once again to Sports with Jesse. So today is Saturday, 16th of August, 2025. And I thought, let me be with you and review all the matches that's going to be played today. Uh, at 3 o'clock, start. So that I can leave you to go and watch your game in peace. So without much further ado, I would like to start with what happened yesterday at Anfield. He saw that tribute to Diogo Jota was the tribute that everybody love, to see. So it was a good thing. It was emotional. Let me play it. So okay, so you can see what happened at Anfield. Anfield is letting the families of Diogo Jota and Andre Silva know that whatever happens, they're lovely boys. They're never going to be forgotten. And Anfield is used, to, yeah, I'll not say used. Anfield has witnessed a lot of, tragedies. Also, in Belgium, you remember that game in Europe. I think it's 87 or so. And then the Hillsborough tragedy as well. And then we had, Jota. So, but the good thing is that, people at Liverpool, they always come together. They always come together to say to difficult times, yes, we will continue. We will not stop. And that is what they have done, for Jota, and Andre Silva yesterday. So we do hope the family, as they're watching it, that they are lifted up in their spirits, to know that Diogo Jota and Andre Silva may not be here with us today, but they would never be forgotten. So thank you, Anfield, for that. I think we should take that out of the way. So today, as you can see, Aston Villa and Newcastle started the early, game, and then it's finished 0-0, 0-0. Of course, there was a sending off, and after that sending off, of concert, the English, international. Yeah, it was a one-way street. Newcastle trying to get a goal, but they could not, get that goal. So, what next? Next is BBC. So, BBC is going to be the one that we go to now to see what are the options, what are the matches that are now going to take place uh, in the 3 o'clock, billings, right? So as you can see here, concert dismissed as Aston Villa and Newcastle struggle for breakthrough. It's ended 0-0. So let's go over here. Yeah, as you can see just there, this match has ended 0-0. And then the next one is going to be Brighton and Fulham are going to be playing at 3 o'clock. Sunderland and West Ham, they're going to be playing as well. Tottenham and Burnley are going to play. Wolves and Man City are going to play. Chelsea and Crystal Palace. No, that will be tomorrow. That's Chelsea and Crystal Palace tomorrow. So we have the rest of the matches we've got today. Brighton and Fulham, Sunderland and West Ham, Tottenham and Burnley, and of course, Sunderland and West Ham. No, Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Okay, get yourself together, Jesse. So tomorrow, Sunday is Chelsea and Crystal Palace, right? The matches we got today: Tottenham versus Burnley, Brighton versus Fulham, Sunderland versus West Ham, and Wolves versus Manchester City. So, but everybody is waiting for tomorrow. That's why I've been going there. Tomorrow, there's going to be Chelsea and Crystal Palace. We're not too much interested in that. Nottingham Forest and Brentford, we're not so much interested in that. Now, the match we're all interested in is Man United versus Arsenal. That is the one that we are interested in because this season, Arteta has been saying all sorts. I think he made a comment about we need to keep digging. That if you've been digging for gold for a long time and you don't give up, you will get the gold eventually. Well, Mr. Digger, we don't understand what you're saying actually, because yeah, Arsenal, they've been trying all their best, and I've shared my opinion on this. What happens, with what I think about Arsenal. The team itself has no fault. It's fantastic, great team, Arsenal team that should be winning titles. If they're not winning titles, they should be winning the cup competitions, right? But the problem for me has always been Arteta. To the degree of 70%, and the rest of the 30% lies with, the board. Since David Dane left, the recruitment process of Arsenal have left much to be desired. So look at Arteta. Last season, everybody knew Arsenal was missing a point man, a striker. All he needed to have done is go to the market, bring in a striker with pedigree that is going to put the ball in the back of the net. Forget about all of this Pep Guardiola's tiki-taka, move the ball, pass yourself to death, kind of strategy. Bring in a striker, stick him in that position, number 9 position, and you win the league. That's it. Nothing more than that. And last season, Osimhen was in the market. Where did Osimhen go? Turkey. So, how do you think Now they lost it 2 seasons ago. They were overhauled by um, City, Manchester City. Oh, and they said, okay, this season that last season, Manchester City was not performing. It's going to be the Arsenal year. What happened? Liverpool nicked it because Arteta will prepare the team to be 80% ready and leave those crucial positions, you know, on field. So this season, they said, okay, we're going to try. We're going to now go and get the striker. It took them a lot of dilly-dallying, you know. Is it going to be Gyökeres? Is it going to be, at some point, they wanted to sign the guy who went over to Manchester City. So now they're not even sure what striker they needed. Like if Manchester City needed a player, they went straight for that player. You know that they have done their homework and that is who they want. If it was Liverpool, Liverpool said we wanted Isaac. They've been at the task since last year. So you just don't get a player to say, "Oh, I'm not going to play for Newcastle again. I want to go away." That means there must have been some kind of arrangement, with that player for them to down tools essentially and say, "Look, it's either you let me go or I'm not going to play for you." But you look at Arsenal; they're not operating like that. They're not. And when you look at that team, I told Arsenal fans 2 seasons before and last season, I said, when you look at all your most efficient players, they're playing 95 to 98% all of the time. There's going to be a time that they're going to carry injuries. And that's exactly what happens. Look at Gabriel and Saka. Saka was playing 95 to 98% of the time for England. And he was also playing by the same margin, for Arsenal. Of course, he's young, but once you start to get him to start to have injuries, then it's going to be constant. That's the way it is. You don't overburden one player, just for the team. We've seen it with McAllister of Liverpool. Even yesterday, he was not up to speed because he was overused, in the last season. So it's the same thing that's going on. Gabriel also carried that injury. So if you keep using one player over and over and over again, that's what's going to happen. So now, Manchester United, they have signed fantastic players, for this season. So tomorrow is a day that is a judgment day that we all are going to see these teams, and we're going to place our judgment on the teams, that we're watching, right? So Manchester United have gone under the radar, but they've spent a lot of money. They've spent a lot of money to assemble this new look team that they've got now. So they've got Imbremo. They've gone and get Imbremo from Brentford. They got Matthias Cunha from um, Wolves. So when you have high-profile players like that in your team, they only lost. They wanted to go for Baleba as well, but when they were slapped with a bill of 120 million pounds for Baleba, they backed off. So we're going to see tomorrow. That is a game that we're actually waiting for to see. And today, Brighton versus Fulham, yeah, is more of the same. It's going to be a tight game, and I do actually favor Brighton to nick that because they've got fantastic players, in that team to actually do something. Sunderland versus West Ham. So newcomers versus West Ham that's been struggling. They struggled last season. They sold some of their best players. Kudus went to Tottenham. And who else? They're just selling and buying clubs, and they brought him a lot of unknown players. And we will see what happens with them. Then Tottenham versus Burnley, newcomers, they're fantastic. They won, the championship, but this is not the championship. This is, the Premiership. So Tottenham under Thomas Frank, they've brought in a lot of fantastic, reinforcements. But that disappointment of losing of losing the Super Cup in such a fashion, you're leading 2-0 just 5 minutes, before the game ended, and you still lost the game. So that might play on their mind, it might play on their mind, So we have to watch that. But Burnley is not at the level of Tottenham, so Tottenham should actually, nick that, straight up. So I don't see any. And then of course we have Wolves versus Man City. Of course, Man City are going to railroad Wolves. I mean, who's expecting Wolves to put up any resistance? It's not going to happen. So it's going to be Man City in my own book that wins that. So let's quickly go over some um, news that we've got. Something that happened yesterday that I need to touch on. That has got to do with the racist incidents, at Anfield, and that is really, really unfortunate. So it has to do with a player that I mentioned to you in my broadcast yesterday that was going to cause Liverpool a lot of, problem. So it's something that is Semenyo has been playing fantastically well. Is a British, is as British as they come. He was born in the UK, right? I don't understand why you have to be racist, towards him. And this is what African players and black players have to live with. You don't see, okay, your Asian players get it, but how many Asian players play in the Premier League? About 30 to 40% of all the players in the Premier League are of black heritage, African heritage. It doesn't matter if they come from Brazil, come from even they don't even give Brazilians a stick in the Premier League, unlike in the Spanish league. Why would you do that? Why? Why do we have to cope with racism all of the time? But it's a good thing to see that the Liverpool fans who are near what happened actually condemned it. Also, Liverpool Football Club and the coach of Liverpool, Arne Slot, has actually said that this is unacceptable anywhere in the world. And this is Bournemouth, siding with their player and backing him, and a great player above all, a great human being. Only a strong character shows such resilience in those circumstances. We love you, and I'm with you, Antoine. So I want to say to our Ghanaian, heritage brother, Antoine Semenyo, we also love you. Mosport loves you. Africa stands behind you, and no amount of racism is going to stop your shine. You're going to go out there and shine, even shine brighter. So if you remember what I said about Semenyo, this guy has always been a thorn in the flesh of Liverpool and so many big clubs. Remember they beat Manchester City last season. It was also instrumental. So I thought that Bournemouth pulled off a great coup by not selling him, by offering him a new 5-year deal. Because if he was not there yesterday, that team would have been, railroaded. That is for sure. But this guy, look at the second goal. Took the ball from a defense, position and ran, ran at the Liverpool goal. And you had Van Dijk, you have Konate, and they were all backing off, and he was pressing them on. And the goal that is scored, when he unleashed that left foot, that was a bang. It was in the goal. And that those are the kind of goals that can actually deflate the morale of our teams. So it was just unfortunate that they considered that goal, the third goal, and there's subsequently the fourth goal. But Semenyo Antoine was actually instrumental to everything good that Bournemouth did yesterday. Imam Tim Brooks. So um, that was an unfortunate thing to happen, and we hope that we do not see that sort of event anymore. So let's go to Sky Transfer Center and see what's been going on. So this is Sky Transfer Center, and you know uh, Garnacho and Simons, that's been haunted by Chelsea Football Club is dependent on players also leaving. So if Christopher Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson, that's been linked with Newcastle, and Tariq George are not moved on, then they may not be able to find the money to sign Garnacho and Xavi Simons. So that is one. So the Isak, saga carries on. You know, and Eddie Howe said no different to how it's been for a number of weeks. Well, without him, Alexander Isak, we're adapting to that and still trying to be competitive. Today will be a big test for us. And we can see that they struggled, even with playing against 10 men of um, Villa, they struggled. So who would not struggle without Isaac in their team? So they really struggled. And that might carry out through the season unless they bring in reinforcements, that can do the job. I do believe that Isaac is not going to be um, Newcastle player by 1st of September. That's my belief, you know. So we see that now there's interest. Damesh reports that Fenerbahce are interested in signing Arsenal defender Alexander Zinchenko, who of late has been having issues getting playing time. I don't think Arteta rates him anymore, and he's been quite vocal about that. And he's in the final year of his contract. It's either he runs it down this season, sits on the bench a lot, and go for free next season, or Fenerbahce can step in and sign him. So, of course, the teams at the bottom of the table have been crying foul of the new profit and sustainability rules, which we call PSL. So Aston Villa is really finding it, difficult under the financial regulations to sign the caliber of players that the top teams, sign, because of course they were in the Champions League, but they didn't win it. They made some money, so they have to make. So the PS rules means that you have to be able to finance the type of incomings that you get. So you can't go, spending more than you make to a certain degree, and leaving yourself short, and illiquid, and that can lead to quite a lot of things. So they don't want that. They don't want bankruptcies in the games, They don't want payment defaults, and that is for a reason. But it's challenging, but I do think Aston Villa will be okay. Emery is a fantastic, coach. So that is where we are. And this is Allardyce saying that to Newcastle, you need to sell him. And I do agree with him. If you don't sell him, you create a circus around Newcastle, and every presser is going to be about Isaac this, Isaac that, Isaac this. That is going to rile the other players. It's going to overshadow the good things that you're doing. It's going to overshadow your rebuild and all of this stuff. So they need to sell him, and make way. And we also know that Bissouma has been having problems with Tottenham. He was benched for the finals of the Super Cup because of disciplinary issues. He's been said to come late, into training and all of that. But he's one of the best players, that Tottenham has got. But Thomas Frank does not like that, and he's not going to live with that. So he has to either sit tight, sit up, or ship out. It's one of those. So If Roma comes in for him, that's fine. That's okay, no problem. So Nottingham Forest are keen to sign Manchester City's Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis was instrumental in the good things that happened to Man City last season, in where they did not, you know, live up to expectation. Um, but now he hasn't got a place anymore in that team. So Nottingham Forest is looking at getting him for 30 million. Ederson as well. Like I said yesterday, Donnarumma has left PSG, and suddenly City are looking at, oh, we could do with a fantastic keeper like that. So they signed James Trafford from Burnley, weakening that team just about last week. But when Donnarumma is available, you have to sign him. So I understand that. So I will leave you with this. More depth, fewer excuses. Arsenal and Arteta have nowhere to hide now. So this is what I've been saying as well. He wants Gyökeres. Oh, this season came. Oh, we want Gyökeres. We want Gyökeres. We want Shesko. We want Shesko. They didn't know who to get. Now they got Gyökeres. You've got Gyökeres. You've signed a lot of players, right? What next? What do we expect next? We expect you to go ahead and deliver the cup. You have to deliver the EPL. So let's look at how much they have spent so far. They signed Gyökeres for 75 million euros. They signed Zubimendi for 65 million euros. They signed Madueke for 61 million euros. They signed Norgard for 13 million euros. They signed Mosquera for 21 million euros and Kepa for 7 million euros. That is a total of 245 million euros that has been spent just this window alone. So I don't think that Arteta has any more excuse whatsoever have any more excuse about winning the EPL. You cannot give us any excuse anymore. So I've got Abiola saying that the Newcastle team looks lethargic without Isak. They need to resolve his issues on time if it's not going to be a long season. Of course, I do agree with you 100%. It's going to be a long, long, long road, for Newcastle this season. And that's why I said that they should have sold the moment that that 120 million pound bid went in from Liverpool. They should have taken it. Take it, cut him loose, focus on who you need to bring in. That in today, you can say all you want about Nicholas Jackson. It's going to get you chances after chances. He may not put them in like a pro, like Isak would do, but it's going to be in the right position, in the right place. And it's going to cause confusion among the defenders. And then you have wide players who can score. You have people who can put the ball in the net in the Newcastle team. So I don't understand all these, coaches and boards and whoever is behind the scenes, in all of these clubs. If a player does not want to play with you anymore, let him go. Get new players in. That's how it works. That's how it works. So there's no okay. I'll show you one now. Exactly what I'm saying. You see that. Look at this. You see that Crystal Palace are in no position to, reject money when they have money. So they're playing today in the squad for today. They have left out Eberechi Eze. They could have said, "Oh, we're playing Chelsea. Let's put Eberechi there because our best player, and is going to at least let's get a point or let's get 3 points." They didn't say that, but because Tottenham are going to sign him, they cannot carry any injury risk. If you know what I mean. Tottenham, Thomas Frank has been looking for a playmaker in the number 10 role. They thought that they signed Morgan Gibbs White. but that did not pan out the way they want. He went back to Nottingham Forest. Now they want to get Eberechi Eze. And I do think that Eberechi Eze should have actually gone to it should have gone to Arsenal. Instead of signing Madueke, sign Eberechi Eze. Immediately it lifts up the team. But it is what it is. You cannot, tell these guys what they know or think that they know. Or I'm not a professional coach, I just comment on football. But it is what it is. So I think that is the same comment that we've got from Abiola. Thank you for making that comment, and thank you for joining me. So it is what it is. No more excuses for us now, and may the best teams win in this 3 p.m. matches that are starting now. So that will be it from me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and stay great.